Hello and welcome. Alrighty, if you don't know me, my name is Kate London and I am an affair recovery coach. I better get my hair away from this mic because that's going to be annoying in the audio. So, I specifically specialize with helping women that are in affair relationships, currently actively in a affair relationship to create the change that they are seeking. So, if you're right now in an affair and you're experiencing pain or confusion, or you're experiencing these highs and these lows, or it's been going on for months, maybe years, and ultimately it's not fulfilling you in the long run. Yes, you might be experiencing these great highs, but where is this going? I'm getting a man that is can only give me 20%, or he's promising to leave his wife and he never does. Or maybe you feel like you don't necessarily have a future together, but I'm so attached to this relationship. Why can't I end it? So essentially, a lot of the videos that I create is around women who are feeling pain in the affair. And this video that I want to create today is around why it's so hard to end an affair. And you might be in that position where you've said, no more. This has got to stop. I've had enough. Why am I feeling so powerless, so unhappy in this situation, yet I care for this person. I can't end it. I don't want to end it. I do want to end it. Like, you just feel so emotionally drained and you're unsure of why it's so hard to end something that's not serving you and not bringing out the best in you. And you might be feeling like, I deserve better than this. Why am I settling for something that's so like a roller coaster of emotions? And I personally know where you're at. I've been there. I was in an affair for 7 years and it was definitely an emotional roller coaster. And it definitely experienced highs and lows. And I definitely tried to end it on more hands than I could count. And I just kept going back to the situation. So I know where you're at. I'm just going to cover, I've got a little bit of a paper here to follow some of my notes, but I'm just going to cover some of the things around why it's really challenging to end an affair and why you might be feeling that powerless feeling. So the first and obvious one is that we find comfort in what is familiar. And so, for one, on one perspective, is anything that you have been experiencing for a significant amount of time, just like with habits, the more that we invest ourselves, the more that it becomes comfortable, even if it's not serving us. So, if you've been investing yourself into this relationship, even if it's not bringing out the best in you and not making you happy long term, your body, your emotional body, has become comfortable in living in this reality. And so when you create change in it, there's essentially a void. And when you end something like a relationship, and I just want to add here, like, breakups in general are really hard, but an affair on top of that, if you're living this affair in secret and no one knows about it, then you essentially might have to grieve the loss of a significant relationship in private. And I get messages from women a lot that are saying, like, I've gone home. They might be in a relationship and also having an affair, and they have to go home to their family and act like everything is fine and dandy, when in the inside they're completely broken and emotional. But you have to put on this face because you're going through a breakup that no one knows about and no one can know about. So a breakup in general is hard. An affair breakup is often even harder. Well, there's nothing, like, everything is different for everyone's personal experience, but an affair breakup can be extremely challenging because of that extra added perspective. And also, it can also be one of the things why you keep going back, is because you don't have that support system around you. And so when you usually have your best friends, your girlfriends being like, you said this? Remember, you told me these stories. And they keep repainting the pictures of why you left, helping you stay strong in that, when you kind of often, we remember all the reasons before we have a breakup around why this has to stop. But when we have the breakup and we face what we have lost, we begin to want it, and we forget about all the reasons why we needed to end it in the first place. And so with a breakup in an affair relationship, you don't have all your friends and family members and people that are kind of, even if they don't vocally say it, you're still having an identity around them, and you want to stay strong with that. So it can often be easier to sometimes go back to an affair relationship because no one's supposedly watching you or have this unconscious accountability around you, around your best interests at heart, because they can't support you because they don't know what you're going through. And so often with an affair relationship, it becomes challenging in that perspective because you don't have that support, and you don't have people that can help you paint the picture when you have lost your picture yourself, because you're grieving the loss of what you're going through. And so that can be often why it's hard to end. And back to just like seeking the comfort in the familiar, is even if it's something that is unhealthy, if it's something that you have invested in for a while, it becomes your new home, your emotional home. And so when we end it, we essentially have a void, and we need to refill that void. And at first it can be very challenging and emotional because we want to go back to where that hole is that we are now missing. And so that is the one thing, is what we invest in, we want to continue investing in. The other thing to add to that is, if you painted a picture of a future with him and that picture isn't unfolding, then you're grieving the loss of what could have been, when in actual fact that was a narrative that you painted in your mind, or they could have painted in their mind helped you paint in your mind with words, but the physical reality of it never unfolded. And so one of the things that you could be doing is you could be holding on to the hope that narrative unfolds, when in reality it's not unfolding in that way. And so you continue to hold on to hope, but it's not unfolding. And so you're in this position of discomfort that's not serving you. It's not going anywhere, but you're holding on to the hope that it will go somewhere. And so rewriting that story and surrendering to, maybe it's going to be a different reality, maybe we're not meant to be together, can often be really confronting to face. The next thing that I want to paint is, you could be in denial about what you're really going through. And I have a video completely on denial, so you can check that out in the link below. But one of the things that I said in the video on denial is a common thing that I see and hear from people is, yes, we're in this relationship, but it's not really an affair. Ours is something kind of different, like it's not quite an affair. And the reality is, I personally did that 100%. Mine was not an affair at all, and in my mind. And when I came to that reality, I was like, me in that experience, and I was shocked. And so you might be feeling that too, and that's often what that's probably not the best example for why an affair is so hard to end. But in regards to your situation and your future and your potential with this partner, you could be in denial around the stories that you tell yourself that might not actually be serving you, and that are actually protecting you from the pain of facing your truth around this situation. So you could be painting a picture like, well, we have a future, or maybe hold on a little bit longer because it could go somewhere, when in actual fact you're blocking yourself from viewing all the other experiences that happened in this affair experience that is weighing down, potentially pointing in the direction that this is not going to work long term, and you're not actually looking at that perspective because you're not wanting to see it, because that would mean that you'd have to end it. Or not have to end it, but that would mean you'd have to see that maybe there's not a future that I hoped there was. And so the denial video will help you with that. Coming out of denial is a beautiful thing. Not always comfortable, but it's definitely a beautiful thing. The next one is, oh, I already mentioned that you don't want to give up on what you worked so hard for. And so we're human. We want to follow through. Whatever we invest in, we want to see fruit, results for what we have invested in. And if you've invested so much into something and you've grown such a strong emotional connection, I need to have a drink of water because my throat is getting tickly. If you have invested such a strong emotional connection and you're about to strip yourself away from that, then you've invested all of this for it to go nowhere. And that can really be depleting, because often what I experience with a lot of ladies that I work with is they start to go out on dates and no one compares to them. But the reality is you invested so much into this relationship, and in order to invest in a new relationship, that takes time as well. And so it can be really hard to let go of all the effort that you put in and close a chapter with someone that is your best friend, or is your closest connection. I just had one other point that I wanted to add, and now I've forgotten it. Will it come to me in a second? Yes, trauma bonding. Trauma bonding. If you don't know about trauma bonding, look it up. I don't have a video on it as of now. You could probably look it up with my name, and I might have one at the time that you watch this video. But unhealthy attachment styles towards love can keep us in relationships that are unhealthy. And you could be experiencing so much pain around a relationship, but yet feel so drawn to it and unsure, why am I seeking someone that's completely unavailable, or maybe not treating you nicely, or not giving you the time and investment that you deserve? Essentially, look up trauma bonding. It will change your life if you haven't looked at it. But if you're in a relationship that's not like actually bringing out the best in you, then that could definitely be something that will add value of why you're seeking something that's unhealthy. The other thing that has now come onto my list while I'm thinking about it is we can be addicted to drama. People, and if you grew up and if you look into inner child healing work and really taking a look at the dynamics you had in your childhood and how that's impacting the relationships that you attract into your life today, one of the things that you could be finding comfort in is if you had a home as a child that was an emotionally drama filled, then you will be attracting that in your relationships today, because that was the emotional state that you lived in as a child. And so that becomes your emotional home. Your emotional home is safe to you, even if it doesn't feel comfortable, it feels safe. And so the other thing that why it can be really challenging to end is because that is your emotional home. And so if you're wanting to rewrite look into your childhood dynamics and how they're shaping your relationships today, then reach out. Let's have a call. Let's see around, like, what kind of relationships did you have with your parents and your siblings? And what did love mean to you? Was it actually unhealthy attachment styles of love? You could actually be feeling that this affair equals love to you because of the drama. And so one of the things that will really help you on your journey is to rewriting your model of love on an unconscious level, not just a conscious level. Consciously, we know we want that fairy tale love or whatever it is. Like, consciously, we know how we want to be treated, but unconsciously, you might be drawn to that drama. And so it's essential for you to heal that wound within to be able to start attracting healthy relationships into your life. Alrighty, so just to brush over that, I want to quickly touch on a few ways that you can make the process of ending an affair, if you've wanting to end an affair and you're finding it really hard, how to end it for good. One of the things that is like powerful is to remain strong in why you want to end it. When we start to face the closing of something, which is essentially like a loss, we look at where we are losing this person, this experience, and we keep feeding ourselves the story of loss. And when we're operating from a loss, on loss, lack, then we need it more. And so the desire for the affair, for the person that you want that's currently in a relationship, is stronger. So if you're wanting to end the affair relationship, I really, 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 if I can say that enough, invite you to record a video of yourself around, even record it when you're super emotional, fed up, why you really need to end the affair. Pull out the camera then, record yourself in the peak state of emotional pain that you're in, of why you're no longer willing to settle in something that is hurting you so much. And the reason we do this, camera, or you can write it in a notebook, the reason why I want you to write down all the reasons why it's time to end it is because when you do end it, it is very natural for you to miss the connection, the love that you shared. And you're going to paint all the beautiful experiences that you now no longer get to have with this beautiful person that you cared so much for. And so when we do that, we begin to feel a little bit more powerless, like we are facing this loss and wanting or needing that person back. And so often we can run back. So in that time when you're feeling emotionally vulnerable, I want you to pull out your notebook or pull out your video that you had recorded and really keep brushing up on the reason of why you ended the affair in the first place. So you can keep that story at the top of your mind so that you can keep strong when you feel like you're losing your strength in the process of a breakup. Okay, the next one is to tell someone. Again, what I said before is when you're in an affair experience, often a lot of people don't know about what you're going through, like a relationship experience that everyone knows about. So you'd have your community, your people, your family, your friends to support you going through a breakup. When you're going through an affair, you don't have that emotional support system and you have to go through it alone. And so when you're going through it alone, often the very person you need to talk to get support is your affair partner about the pain that you're going through. So you'll want to reach out, you'll be inclined to reach out to them because you're in pain to get their support about the breakup, which will lead you guys back together. So it's really important to have a support system, to talk to people that are going to support you through the process of ending an affair relationship, because otherwise your strength is only on your own. And it can become so much stronger when you have the support of others to hold you strong when you have lost yours. I, for sure, when I was going through my affair experience, I needed daily accountability, and I nearly fell off so many times, and I would not have been able to do it without the support of the people that could hold the strength when I was so vulnerable, so emotional. So 100% really reach out to someone that can support you and be a sounding board and that you can call on when you're feeling like, I feel like I'm going to run back. You need a support system that can have the strength when you have lost yours. So that is another one. Boundaries are essential. Where are you violating your boundaries on this relationship in order to be loved by him? Again, I have another video on the power of boundaries and really listening to your internal truth and intuition. So you can check the link out below. But if you're constantly violating your own boundaries, then you're going to be pleasing yourself or him in the short term, but in the long term, not fulfilling yourself. So it's essential in order to end a relationship for good is to stand firm in your boundaries of what you're willing and not willing to settle for in life. Write them down, be clear. Again, if you're at the place of pain and wanting to end the affair, it's good to like write down all things, reasons for what you're willing to stand for and not willing to stand for, so that when you feel vulnerable, you can tune back into that list that you had written for yourself. The next one the last one that I want to quickly touch on is to question your thoughts. I've got a video below, I'll link it below, on questioning the power of your beliefs and questioning your thoughts. It's so easy to like no longer question the stories that we have created around the affair experience that you're going through. And often those very stories are keeping you stuck in your reality. Like, he is your soulmate, or I'll never meet anyone like him, or I can't end it until he until he does X, until Christmas or whatever it is, or he says he's going to leave his wife for his kids, so I'm just waiting for that to happen. All these stories, whatever they are keeping you stuck in the affair experience without you actually being able to step outside of the stories you're telling yourself, so you can see a clear perspective on the affair that you're going through. Again, I've got it in the link below, so if you want to check out that video, it's powerful. Your mind is powerful, and the very reason you're stuck is probably because of the stories you're telling yourself. So definitely check out that. Anyway, an affair, just to like end it here, an affair is an extremely, extremely challenging experience to be in, or it can be. It can be different for every person. But if you're in the point right now where you're wanting to end it but feel powerless to do so, and you've wanted to do it for so long, but you love this person, it can be really challenging to leave someone that you love. And so if you're in that position, you're always welcome to reach out to me and get support. Come join the tribe of women, getting support on really stepping into the best versions of themselves. Time to no longer settle into something that is hurting you in the long run. So I hope that helps. Bye for now.